beautiful souls. Welcome to Giggles and Gratitude. Happy Sunday. I'm Dena.
And I am Diana, and we want to welcome all of our listeners and remind everybody, hey, it's Mother's Day. So, yay, celebrate your mom.
That's right. I am not a human mother. I am a dog mom.
They need moms too.
That's true. That's true. And Dinah's both. She's a dog mom, cat mom, and stepmom. Happy Mother's Day to you, Diana.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. So, have you ever felt, Diana, a deep stirring inside you, like you were meant for more, but you couldn't quite explain it? You kind of hit a wall. Like right now isn't the full story of your life. There's got to be more that you're here for. You try to ignore it and distract yourself and stay comfortable, enjoy your day, but it just keeps coming back, that nagging feeling. Have you ever felt that way? Like, I am here
Yeah,
to do more.
yeah. Here to do more. And instead of ignoring that or finding something else to occupy my brain, well, then that kind of goes to the back burner. I think that we're all here for more, and that if we truly recognize and that is our focus, and we all get altered, but routinely kind of steer yourself back to believing that you are here for more, you are here for a purpose, and there's a reason why you should not ignore that. You should carry forth with that, and the gifts and the talents that God gives us in order to make a difference in people's lives is what moves us to be greater and do more and make more of a difference. So I try to make sure I do that every day.
Very well said. Well, you're going to agree with a video from Faith Forge. We have been inspired by Faith Forge before, and I will include a link to this, but it's titled Seven Signs God is Calling You to Something Greater, just like
Hmm.
Diana said. So you're right on the money. They believe that that feeling is not random. It's not confusion, and it's not something you should just brush off. You should recognize it. So there, according to them, there's seven clear signs that it's actually God calling you for something greater. Not just a better situation, not just a temporary breakthrough, but a higher purpose that'll stretch you, shape you, and change the direction of your life. And it may not be, like feeding the homeless or doing something that you would recognize as a godly service. It may be switching careers because you are not being fulfilled where you are and you have a greater purpose somewhere else. Or it could be getting married to someone when you felt like you were happy being single. I mean, it's not like, oh, I've had this calling to be a priest or whatever. I don't think that's what we're talking about today. But I mean, just like you worked at a place and honed your skills, and then you were like, this is not my home anymore.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Thank you for saying it that way.
Yeah. And even though it was a financial thing, a career thing, I feel like that was inspired by God.
Amen. 100% all the way. And had I ignored that, I may not be able to make a difference and bless the people that God puts in front of me every single day.
I agree with that. Okay, hopefully by the end of this episode, we will have be able to recognize these signs, whether it's just maybe your selfish need to have more, or it's you're 80 got ADHD and you can't concentrate on one thing for very long. So we'll see how you can tell that it's from God. God might be doing something behind the scenes, and you should respond with confidence instead of fear, because sometimes that can be scary when you're kind of rocking along and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, this is not right. I need to be doing something else. So, sign one, you feel uncomfortable where you once felt settled. It's not like you're still striving, you've never settled into anything, you're striving, striving, striving. But this is when you're actually thought, okay, I did it. I've completed my goal. I love my job. I love where I live. Da, da. And then you start to feel unsettled. It doesn't feel right anymore. I've been through that. It's like almost like overnight. You wake up and you're like, why do I feel weird? What is this like? Just like, so why does this not feel like home anymore to me?
Yeah, Dina, and I'd like to add to that. I had a real hard time leaving the hospital for that very reason because it was what I knew. It was familiarity. I was comfortable there. But at the same time, I had this ink in me, just a irk to in my in my bones just to do something totally different, outside that whole framework of hospital work and, that type of stuff. Um, and I would say that when that is that uncomfortable time, get quiet with the Lord and hear his voice as to why are you feeling uncomfortable. And he will in time show you. It took me 2 years to just totally unravel, and I cut back hours, and I did this. I did everything in the world. But I was so uncomfortable that I had to, like you said, it was a financial step out in faith for sure. And God helped me have the strength to do it, and I've never looked back. So make sure when you are feeling uncomfortable in your comfort zone, something is going on.
Exactly. So something shifts. What used to bring you satisfaction now feels draining, sometimes even. Where
Yeah.
did that peace go? The same routines feel repetitive. The same environment feels limited, and you can't fully explain it. People think, is she lost her mind? Is she going through a 7 year
Midlife
itch?
crisis.
Is it menopause?
Yeah, that could be that too.
You can't fully explain it, but deep down, you know something isn't the same. It's the kind of discomfort. It's not something to run from, like you said. It's something to pay attention to. God often disrupts your comfort before he elevates your calling.
Hmm.
Remember that.
Hmm.
If you stayed completely comfortable, you'd never move, you'd never grow, you'd never step into what he has prepared for you. Like they say, what your wishes are could never compare what God's plans for you are. They're so much bigger. Instead of trying to force yourself back into what feels familiar, lean into God, spend time in prayer, and ask him what he's doing in this season. Let him reveal to you what needs to change and what he's calling you towards next. That discomfort isn't punishment, it's preparation. And I'm sure you prayed and prayed and prayed over that
Oh yeah. I
decision.
wailed and I cried and I begged and I pleaded and
Yeah.
I
And you
still
talked
had
to
to
me about it. You've been asking me what I thought. So,
but I had to put a period to that chapter in my life, and it was time. It was time.
right.
I was the one holding out. God was already ready.
All right. And God isn't trying to take something from you, he's trying to lead you somewhere greater. Sometimes we need that kick in the pants to make a big difference. So that's your first sign. You're feeling unsettled where you once felt peace. Second sign, you have a persistent inner pull that you can't ignore. There's something inside you that keeps nudging you. It might be an idea all of a sudden, like, ooh, I could do that. It's a passion, a direction, or maybe even it's a burden for something bigger than yourself. You've tried to dismiss it. You've told yourself it's unrealistic or unnecessary. But no matter how many times you push it back, it keeps coming back. And that's not random either. That's not just an emotion. That can be God placing purpose inside of you. God often speaks to a persistent calling that won't leave you alone. It doesn't always come with full clarity, though, right away, but it comes with consistency. So it stays with you, it grows stronger. Instead of ignoring it, you start acknowledging it. You bring it to God in prayer and you ask Him for clarity, wisdom, and direction. That's kind of what we said before. And you don't just wait, you take small steps in faith. And that's kind of what you did. You just cut back. Even if you don't have a full picture, obedience in small steps opens the door for greater revelation. If it keeps returning, there's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
God's call doesn't fade. It waits for your response. So first you feel that nag and then you have a inspiration, a passion that like, where did that come from? What makes you think you can do that, Dina? Have you lost your mind?
Hey, I tell you what, God's gonna put a super cape on you, and you're gonna be Supergirl and get things done,
Oh,
according to His purpose for your life. I know that.
why, thank you. I'm waiting. Sign three, doors start to close unexpectedly. You had plans, you had expectations, you thought certain things would work out, but suddenly they didn't. Doors started to close, things started to fall apart. What you thought was secure became uncertain. People fall out of your life that you thought would be there forever. People disappoint you that you counted on. that makes you not even want to be there anymore or makes that thing you were doing with them feel so different. That's the necessary, I guess, death of your past life. It's easy to interpret that it's failure. What am I doing? Everything's failing. Or rejection if it involves a person leaving you or shocking you with something unexpectedly. It's easy to feel discouraged and question everything. But sometimes closed doors are one of the clearest ways God redirects your life. Did you experience any of that?
Oh, no, never.
You've been sarcastic. Nobody ever
Being,
disappointed you?
and being extremely sarcastic here. Yes, to all that. But again, we as humans, we have to recognize we give grace to each other. But when situations come to an end, other people, maybe you don't understand it, but maybe they don't understand you. And
Yeah,
it's
you could
not,
be their disappointment, maybe.
yeah,
You could have,
exactly.
in their
You're
mind, they're like,
leaving.
she's not in my life anymore. But you're like, she's not in my life anymore. What'd she do to me?
Yeah. The way they see it, I was the one that left them. I wasn't asked to leave. Willingly left. Um, I will say here that Joyce Meyer, and I think I've said this before, one of her most famous sermons in my mind is when the horse is dead, dismount.
Yes, I remember you did that in a devotion one time. That was
I
good.
did, and I bring that brings to my mind so often because I stay on a horse till it is totally, I mean, it is gone back to dust. There is nothing there.
What's that smell? Is that dead
You
horse?
know, and then I beat myself up when I look back in life and think, why did I keep those chains on me when God was ready to promote me, to allow me further growth in His presence and in His activity? And that's what we're here for.
Right. And not every opportunity is meant for your future. And if God allowed every door to stay open, you might walk into places that would limit or delay your purpose. So just because that person or that thing was in your life at the time and now it's not, doesn't mean that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Like they say, a reason, a season, or whatever. So instead of chasing what closed, pause and seek God's perspective. And Diana kind of went through a little thing we discussed before we started here, and she is thinking about it in a very positive perspective. So you've got to think about the reason things happen and how you're going to handle it and see it from God's perspective. Ask Him what He's protecting you from and where He actually wants you to go. Trust that even when it doesn't make sense, He sees what you can't see. A closed door doesn't mean you're off track. It often means God is correcting your path. He may be like, you need to get away from that person. They were great for a while and they need to move on too. So those years you spent together were good. They weren't a mistake. They weren't. And I'm not talking about marriage. I'm talking about friendship or business partners or whatever.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign four, you're being pushed to grow spiritually. You begin to notice a shift inside you. You feel a stronger desire to pray when you may not have before. You're like, I'm rocking. I got this. I know what I'm doing. I get up, I go, everything's great. And then you thank God for your nice day. But all of a sudden you feel like, I need God more. You feel conviction about things you once ignored. You start becoming more aware of your thoughts, your habits, and your spiritual life. That isn't random growth, it's intentional. God prepares you spiritually before He elevates you publicly. So all that prayer needs to be going on before you announce, I'm going to be an actor or whatever. The
Right.
calling on your life requires a stronger foundation. And that foundation is built in your relationship with Him. So that's why you feel that urge to pray more often before you make that leap. If you try to step into something greater without spiritual death, you won't be able to sustain that dream or that change. Don't resist that pull. Lean into it. Make time for God consistently before you make that big change, which you did, which
Mhm.
you always do.
I think of the Bible verse there that fits every circumstance for every single person across the board is be still and know that I am God. Be
Right.
still. When we don't know, when we're still at that phase of, in between, stand still. God will meet you in the gap and He will give you the strength to forge forward. And I'm telling you, when you are under the walk of God's blessing and hand over your life, you are not going to fail.
Amen, sister. So open your Bible, spend quiet time in His presence. Let Him shape your heart before he changes your circumstance. It's very important. God calls you higher by drawing you first closer. Remember that. Sign 5, you start to feel isolated or set apart. You may start noticing distance between you and certain people. Conversations don't feel the same. Interests change. You don't connect the way you used to. And sometimes it feels lonely. This can be a very lonely time. This can be one of the hardest parts of the process because it feels like loss. But often it's actually alignment. I am being aligned. I am being aligned. I am not lonely. Not everyone is meant to go where God is taking you. So you may have to say bye-bye. Some relations are seasonal, like we said, not permanent. And if you try to hold on to what God is asking you to outgrow, not leave, not abandon, but outgrow, you'll slow down what He's trying to build. So instead of chasing old connections, use this season to grow closer to Him. Let Him fill that space. That can hurt. That can be painful.
Oh, yeah.
Let Him
My,
refine. Go ahead.
can I say my take on that is the devil trying to throw in darts to thwart your plan?
Yes. Yeah. I can't leave this person. They've been good to me. I have felt that way before. I don't really want to talk specifics, but where I thought, I don't, I don't fit in this group anymore. And I thought I
Mhm.
always would. I feel so isolated and alone and like I don't even understand what they're talking about anymore. So I have been through, that's really my changing, I guess, not
Mhm.
them. Let him refine your character, not redefine, but refine it and strengthen your identity. Maybe you were kind of wishy-washy and didn't really have an identity. Your identity was kind of meshed with these people that you've been with for years, and you really didn't even have your own. And all of a sudden, you start to get it when God's inspiring you and speaking to you, and you're like, "Ooh, I don't fit in here anymore." So being set apart instead of saying I don't fit in, it doesn't mean you're being abandoned. It means you're preparing for something that requires a different environment. You can't do it where you are now.
Right.
Sign 6, you experience unusual challenges or resistance. As you
There's
start
the
moving,
devil.
here you go. Diana says, I check that out. Oh, is that Satan? As you, not today, Satan. As you start moving towards something greater, you may notice increased resistance. Things get harder, not easier. Even when you think this is what I'm going to do, I've been inspired, I'm making this leap, then it just gets harder. You face doubt, you question, like, what was I thinking? You feel fear. And Diana spoke about fear last week on a Giggles and Gratitude. It's really good. Go back and listen to it if you hadn't. And she's going to continue in the future on that theme of fear. You feel distractions and you feel unexpected obstacles. You're like, wait a minute, this is not in my business plan. What has happened here?
Okay.
This can be confusing because you might expect things to fall into place. If I'm on the right path and God has inspired me, why isn't this going choo 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 all falling together? Often the opposite happens. When your life begins to align with purpose, opposition increases. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because what you're stepping into matters.
And is right.
Yeah, you're on the roll if people are being disturbed by what's happening and things are stopping you, which I know you went through that too.
Mhm.
Instead of letting resistance stop you, let it strengthen you. Stay rooted in prayer. Always go back to that prayer. Remember who's guiding you through this. It's not you. Stay grounded in faith. Refuse to let fear make your decisions. Push forward even when it's uncomfortable. Growth and resistance often come together. You're not facing opposition because you're weak. You're facing it because what you're doing is significant. I've,
Amen.
I've said that to you before. And the
Mhm.
final sign, you start seeing life through a different lens. Your mindset begins to change. Things that once felt important don't carry the same weight anymore. You could care
Mhm.
less about the things that you really used to matter to you.
Isn't it odd how God can help change your priorities?
It is. And I suddenly think, why do I not want to do that anymore? Why does that all of a sudden just like slap me in the face as wrong that I used to enjoy or do? Or
I
it's a
think
good
that's,
feeling.
again, that's guilt. That is
Yeah.
uh, the arrow of Satan to pierce us with guilt, to hold us on to the past or what we had. And and we probably, you know what, I made a really big difference for 32 years at Children's Hospital. But when the chapter was over, my mission was completed, and I could walk away knowing full well that I did a great job and I made a lot of difference.
Mhm.
And through the years, that has just brought me a lot of comfort to know and a lot of knowledge. But don't think, people, that I learned that overnight or without a lot of pain and prayer and tears and just, like Dena said, what am I doing? Did I do the wrong thing, Lord? So we do doubt ourselves, but that's Satan. And so we just have to keep moving, putting our feet forward, knowing that we're for in the God's will, things will work out.
Yeah. And think about how your absence, how that void was filled in, who all's lives were affected. Somebody needed to be in your position. They were called to do that. And that person
Right.
was called to go into their position and all the shifts of life that, wow,
Yeah.
like the butterfly wing, So you find yourself where you don't care about people's approval like you used to. You want to please God and you want to follow that feeling he's put into you. You don't care if people say, that is insane. What are you doing? But if you do that, what's it gonna do to me? So you get to where you don't care about approval. If you know you're doing the right thing, you care more about your purpose, less about comfort, and more about impact. The shift can feel subtle at first, but it becomes stronger over time. You start thinking differently, responding differently, and valuing different things. And this is how transformation begins from the inside out. Feed this new perspective. Be intentional about what you allow into your mind and your spirit. Surround yourself with truth, wisdom, with things that align with where God is taking you. Don't go back to those old ways of thinking just because they're familiar. Growth requires a renewed mind. And when God calls you higher, He doesn't just change your situation, He changes how you see everything. Okay, now let's bring all this all together because we're running out of time. We got to have a great devotion from DiAnna. Feeling uncomfortable is often the beginning of growth, not the end of stability. That inner pull you keep feeling is not random. It's God's planting purpose in your heart. Closed doors are not rejection, they're protection and redirection. Your growing spiritual hunger is a sign that God is preparing you for more. Isolation doesn't mean abandonment, it means realignment. And resistance doesn't mean for you to stop, it means keep going. And a changed perspective means transformation is already taking place within you. Every one of these signs points to the same truth. God is working in your life even when you don't fully understand it. So I feel like that kind of speaks for itself. I think, Diana, you've contributed a lot and I really appreciate it. I know this hit home for you too. So I just want to tell everyone thank you for listening. Maybe re-listen to this or go and watch Faith Forge's video because there's more to it. And I am inspired by them and using their knowledge, and I would love for them to benefit and for you to go and listen to their and follow their YouTube page because it's great. All right, DiAnna, I'm gonna say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, and I'm gonna turn it over to DiAnna. Bring us home, DiAnna. I love you. Bye.
But I love you too. Great job. Today's is going to be called What is a Mother? My mother, all throughout my childhood, into my adult years, and really even till the last day that she was with me on this earth, she instilled what I call pearls of wisdom into my life. And I was beyond blessed to have her. She helped me know that the little disappointments and annoyances, to just let those bounce off, just like we talked about earlier in the episode that Dena said. And she taught me to turn my focus from negative things and look to more important matters. And boy, was she ever right. Because the more important matters were not what size jeans I wore, not what color lipstick I picked out from Victoria's Secret, how much money I had in the bank, what kind of car I drove. None of that. That is earthly. What really matters is the implantation that we do in Jesus Christ, and we get grounded and rooted in that. And my mother did bring me that. I do know that there are a lot of people who don't have that same story to tell when it comes to their mother. And I will say that there's a lot of women out there like myself and Dena who have not had children, but still yet we have mothered lots of animals, but we have mothered people throughout our lives as well. You don't have to birth someone to be able to love them, support them, and sow seed of positivity and encouragement into their life. Honestly, I feel like for all the mamas out there that weren't both mamas, this is your chance to be a positive influence, to just share the value of being healthy and active in all areas of life. And remember to instill those moral pearls of wisdom. So we sure need it in today's world. And honestly, people, just common respect for each other. Can we just all get along? So back to what is a mom, I'm going to reference our Bible because we always do that. Exodus 20:12 states to honor your mother and your father. And then in Proverbs 31:25-8, this is one of my favorites. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. Her children arise and call her blessed. Thank you. If you are a mother or if you are a stand-in mother, for everything that you've sacrificed for another being. You can never outgive God. And on this Mother's Day, I hope you have the most wonderful day where you feel special and you feel loved and you have an epic day. See you next time. Bye-bye.